Toyota can only have dreamed that their Prius hybrid car would be such a significant model when they launched the original back in 2000. Now, on the back of worries about climate change and global warming, they're making a killing while other car manufacturers are playing catch-up. But there are still two big question marks hanging over the Prius. Is it really any good? And will it really make a difference? First, a bit of background to what's going on. Under here, it all looks very familiar, and it is. This is a regular 75 brake horsepower petrol engine, which sounds a bit underwhelming for a full-size family car. Fear not, because hidden away is an electric motor with the power of a small Super Mini to back up the petrol engine. When you really need acceleration, they work together to produce a theoretical 143 brake horsepower. The batteries for the electric motors are stored under the rear seat, and in this Series 2 Prius, Toyota has packaged them better to allow for the backrests to fold flat, hatchback style. So what happens when the batteries lose their charge? Haven't you noticed the charging points at filling stations? Well, no, you wouldn't have, because the Prius's batteries are recharged on the hoof. Some of the time the petrol engine does the job by powering a small generator. Even cleverer, the Prius can transform the energy when you brake into power for the battery. So you really do get something for nothing. On the road, the Prius drives much like any run-of-the-mill Toyota. It does have automatic transmission as standard, but it's an unusual system with the tiniest of dashboard switches to control it and a tendency for the engine to roar loudly if you floor the throttle. Yet bizarrely, the Prius can be amazingly silent if you treat it gently. And gentle driving helps the fuel economy, though don't for 1 minute believe the official figures that linger in the 60 miles per gallon area. 50 mpg is a very good result for the Prius, and less is normal. Even though it does clever things like automatically switching off the engine when you stop for a moment, you need to treat the Prius very gingerly to maximise economy. Even the electric vehicle button is ultimately disappointing. Press this and you have a full-blooded electric car. Fantastic. Except the batteries are stone cold flat within, wait for it, just 2 kilometres. You can monitor exactly what's happening on the central screen, and the output is both fascinating and at the same time rather sobering. Those misleading government fuel consumption figures are also the source of the extremely low CO2 emission results that allow the Prius to be driven in London without paying the congestion charge. It could mean a saving of as much as £2,000 a year. That's hard to ignore, and so too is the 5-star Euro NCAP safety rating. This £21,000 top-of-the-line Prius will even park itself, for heaven's sake. So is it any good? The Prius is roomy, comfortable and extremely easy to drive. The fact that it's a bit boring could be offset by its environmental credentials, but we're not wholly convinced that these numbers really stack up. In a few years' time, the technology in the Prius will look old hat, while the good old diesel engine will have moved the game even further on, and that's where we'd be looking to save the planet and our wallet. As for good points, well, it's smooth, comfortable and generally quiet. There's good economy and low emissions are possible, and there's no London congestion charge. As for bad points, the driving experience is dull, the economy doesn't generally live up to expectations, and it's got laughable running time on the battery alone.